So I can't type on the internet because, I mean, I can't type on Facebook right now because the internet's out. And nobody wants to listen to me talk anymore because I just go on and on about the same thing. I've been going on and on about the same thing for the past maybe 60 years, probably, because I can remember probably since the time I was able to read, experiencing like cognitive dissonance between the things I observed and the things that were promulgated amongst people by the media, the mainstream media, which is pretty well an indoctrination mechanism, you know, and masterfully used, I must say, but for what end? I mean, if it's used for an end that's, you know, a win-win situation, or that's proportionally pleasing, that's nice. I mean, I think it's nice to use media to produce things that are, you know, pleasing. I guess for me it's very important. I need things to, I need things, it's like a design problem. A good design is a design that it's elegant, it works. You know, and what's going on now is just not even remotely elegant, and it hasn't been elegant since the time I can recall being able to observe with my own eyes, you know, as much as I could in my limited sphere of, you know, access, you know, and things that, you know, you heard or read about in the media, and it really only escalated when I was a kid. It wasn't that bad, but I mean, I didn't know anything except for, you know, upstate New York, basically, Westchester and Putnam, which is pretty well paradise. I mean, it's a really nice, it's a nice place to live. I mean, it's a nice place to grow up. That part of the world, you know, and it's right down the river there from me, you know. But it's not as, it's a little bit crowded and cramped. You know, it's like when you come up from the city, then you get up to like Peekskill Bay and stuff like that. It's really, it gets really tight. And then right about Garrison, it's a tiny little, you know, opening. And then you get past that into Dutchess County, you know, and then across the river or whatever. Then it opens up, and it's really spacious. You know. So oh, I get to talk about myself all day. I don't even care if anybody hears me, I guess. I just really need to talk. I feel like I'm going to explode if I don't talk to somebody. So I'll just talk to the camera, because the camera's always been a good friend to me. And I love the camera. I do love cameras. I'm a camera-friendly person. Probably because my Sun, Jupiter, Venus, and Vesta are all in the second house, which is the house of material, you know, goods, and stuff. And I love stuff. I love my stuff. I mean, the things I love are, I love cameras. I just absolutely adore cameras. I think a camera is a wonderful thing. I think a camera is like an evolutionary tool. You know, just having a camera, it's like, you know, I remember the first time I ever actually started to feel okay about myself a little bit was when we were living in Melville. Somebody gave us a I think we had electricity, but there was a group of people that used to be at my house every Monday, and they would you know, we would do different. I would just make up stuff for people to do because there was nothing to do. Everybody was out of work and there was nothing to do. And I'm always good for something to do. I always got some ideas about things that people can do. I have endless ideas about things that people can do, and they might enjoy it. And I say that my managerial style is, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we tried this, or maybe this would be nice. And that usually works for me, you know. Like, oh, try this, you know. It could be fun. But people used to come to my house on Mondays, and we would perform various activities. At one point, we all told our life stories to each other. At another point, we did drawing. We talked about the natural way to draw was at Nicolaides the natural way to draw. We did the exercise out of that book. We cooked. We started a food co-op. We started a school for the children that were being born during this time period. And I think I had one, during the time when we were doing these meetings and stuff like that, and then I had four, so over the time period, people would come to my house, partially because I was the only person we were the only people that had electricity, because a lot of people were living in barns and stuff like that, just because they didn't want to be in that political system, because they were people of principle and conscience, people that were awake. I found it very hard to live in that system, and I find it almost impossible. I find it really almost debilitating to live in a system that has been prevailing on this planet because it's toxic. It's a toxic culture. To me, very toxic culture. And I'm slowly coming back from being exposed to it. It's like if you ever see the movie Lacho Drum with the gypsies, when they're in the Gaija culture, they're sick. I mean, they get old and tired and dumpy because the culture's toxic, and you just kind of But I don't know why. If all the gypsies and people like that got together, they'd kill us, basically. I mean, it's the thing that we've had to do is be really interstitial, just really, really in the gap, basically. Where we're not affiliated with anything, really. I'm not affiliated with any. I can't affiliate with any of the political parties or systems because they're all stupid. I mean, they're stupid. That's just like a bottom line. There's poorly designed systems, which really upsets me. I am a devotee to elegance and efficiency. To me, beauty is very, very important. And beauty is a question of proportion. Which is why I like the phi, the divine proportion, the golden mean. It's balance. It's things being, not equivalent, just in harmony. Basically. I mean, me. I don't really ask a lot. I mean, I am very materialistic. I love my stuff, but you have to see, for instance, that I have, what the hell I do with them? I have, these pencils. I've had these pencils since 1999. They're little stumps. I have been homeless for a very large period of that time, and I still have these pencils from, I bought them in, I think it was 1999. See, these tiny little freaking pencils. But what a beautiful color. But I still have them. I bought them in, and they were I rarely buy new things. Most of the pencils and stuff like this, people have given to me. But I was holed up trying to do art in the house in Melville, because people wouldn't leave me alone. They're like, you have to get a job and you gotta do something with your life. And I wanted to watercolor, and that's all I wanted to do. And I wanted to get the fuck off my back, and stop telling me that I gotta do all this stuff that I don't feel like doing, because that's what you have to do. You have to get a job, you gotta pay your taxes, and you gotta vote. And I said, no, I don't. So then, okay, now it's like I'm the insane person, which is fine. If that's what it takes for me to have a good relationship with myself, if it takes people having to call me crazy, fine. If that's the price that I have to pay in order to be able to live my life as I see fit, go ahead and call me crazy. Call me whatever you want. Because I get to live my life the way I want to, and you can do whatever you want, because I don't really care. I don't. It's not that I don't care. It's just that it doesn't make a difference to me. I care in the sense, as long as you're happy, I'm happy. But it's not going to change the fact that I love it. I'm like I'm so prolific. That's the thing. People are like, you got to do something with your life, and it's like, oh, like I don't do anything with my life. Like, what do they mean by that? I think they mean I don't make money. I think that's the big objection that people have to the fact that why they say I don't do anything with my life. And that's like the stupidest thing. If you knew me, you know that I'm like driven. I'm always doing something. I neglect. You know, I've started putting myself as a priority. So I do look after my own health, which I didn't for a while because I took on responsibilities and I had to. My nature is such that I have to fulfill the responsibilities that I have accepted. So I have to do the things that I have accepted to do. I'm not going to drop something and go running off to a beach or something like that because I can't. Because I couldn't live with myself if I tried to do that. You know, if I start to do something, I'm going to do it. You know, and if I can't, I'll put it aside and I'll get back to it later. I don't even throw. It's like I don't even throw anything out. Like I still have all these like sketchbooks that I have. I don't throw them out. I don't throw out anything that I do. I don't throw out the pictures that kids do. You know, a little kid scribbles on one of my, you know, notebooks or something like that. I don't throw it out. I take it and I use it. Yeah, because that's how I roll. I never throw anything out. I'm like, oh, well, you're a hoarder. No. I don't acquire a lot of things that I don't acquire a lot of things that would require me to hoard. I mean, the things that I have and the things that I enjoy are all right here, right? Most of them are right in this room. I got a bunch of them in the other room, but I don't have 3 floors full of designer clothes and boots and, you know, $5,000 purses and stupid shit like that. That's not me. I don't see the point, you know, of doing. I don't. That whole thing is just a world that does not make any sense to me. I mean, I love things, you know, but I like making things. You know, I like doing things. You know, in terms of food, for instance, my father my father was such a good cook that he was asked to guest chef at restaurants. You know, people would invite him into their restaurants to cook, you know, because he was really good at what he did. He didn't clean up after himself, but I clean up after myself as well, because my mom cleaned up, so I combined my 2 parents. I have, you know, my dad's a really good cook and my mom was a really good maid, so together we'd be pretty good. Anyway, but the point I'm saying is that if you're only taking pleasure in the accumulation of goods and, you know, being on the receiving end of services, I mean, that's a little bit tedious to me. I don't find it appealing. I could do that. I could have whatever. I mean, I could have done whatever I wanted to do, basically, because I am equipped to do that. You know, I have what it takes to do those things, but the things that I've chosen to do were just because I chose to do them. It's not because I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to impress a bunch of people, because I really am indifferent. I don't care. It's not that I like people to like me, but I don't really want to impress them with my, you know, whatever. You know, it's like I like to say, oh, well, look at, it's this, I mean, you know, Charlie does stuff like this and I like it, you know. Look at this, it's like this thing, like, look at this thing. And this thing is so cool, you know. Isn't that like magical? I got that in Target for $1. I mean, it's not really, oh, well, I went to a boutique and I bought this for, you know, $20 billion or so. No, you know, I bought it in Target for $1 and I just think it's fabulous, personally. And it's got this great geometric, look at that, isn't that beautiful? I mean, just the fact that, so it's not like I'm really materialistic. I mean, look at the beautiful, you know, crafts, the Hopi. I've had that for so long that I have a picture. This is one of my sketchbooks from. It started in 1999, where it went up, and most of the what would you do with them? Okay, most of the drawings in this book are done with these pencils, because I bought these pencils in 1999. and I bought them in Prince Edward Island. All right, in Montague, I bought them in the Rite Aid. You know, and they were student. I was astonished because they were a really good price. So there's my story. So, but this, the point that I was going to make, I rudely interrupted myself, which I did, which is fine, is, why is it there? Oh, this is a great book. This one? Yeah, it is, right? What I'm looking for is... Oh, no, it's not in this one. It's in the other one. Oh, sorry. I gotta figure out what I did that one. Got it. See, the thing about my stuff is I like it being able to access it. I don't want... You know, I'm looking for something. I want to be able to find it, and I know where everything is in this room because I've been here for 2 years, almost 3, during which I have undergone a tremendous amount of purging in the form of illness, being at death's door. I've been very, very sick for the past couple of years. But I'm starting to feel a lot better. And in the beginning, is it in here? There we go. Oh shit. Well, I should put music to this. Maybe I'll play music while I'm doing this, looking for this stuff. Well, it's not in here. Ah, there it is. Here's the picture I was looking for. And as you can see, this is that. That is this. That guitar is not this guitar, but this tapestry is that tapestry. And that's my kitchen. That was my kitchen in Melville. This was wood stove right here. It's the window looking out. This was my shelves that I loved them so much. They just fit in that little niche exactly right. And I used to dust them every day and arrange all of it. See how pretty everything is arranged in there. My little tables. I always had a really nice place to live. You know, but I didn't spend a lot of money on it. One time I found a package of, I was at the dump, and we used to go to the dump, and meet everybody at the dump, smoke some weed, you know, and then we'd go look around stuff. But one time I found this paper bag. I opened the paper bag to see what was in it. Inside were 3 beautiful lace tablecloths, handmade. Well, thank you, Lord. You know, I mean, I just don't really, you know, I prefer to get my gifts from the universe or God than buy them. I mean, I don't know why, that's just my predilection. So anyway, oh yeah, so where I was before I so rudely interrupted myself is I was going to say, this is some old sketchbook that I could just say, well, that's some old sketchbook, or my stupid old sketchbook, but I don't feel like that about it. I really like it. You know, it's like, that time it's beautiful. You know, this kind of thing is the reason that I went, you know, I left trying to be a normal person and just went off by myself and just painting, because I love it. I love painting. I just like doing it. And it's like, well, it's not really useful. It's not making any money. You know, whatever. I mean, this shit is so beautiful. I mean, I can't get enough of it. You know, I mean, oh yeah, sure. Well, it is. I am materialistic, but I don't have like warehouses full of manufactured goods. I have things that I have they have meaning for me. You know, I have a lot of stuff that's personally meaningful to me, or I made it. You know, and I like making things. So, here's another. I really love my pictures. I know they're not practical or anything like that, but they're so much fun to do. And I'm going to make this into a book. So I'm going to put words in here. And just kind of go with it. Can you look at that one? See, no, we just look at that one. This one. This one. The book smells interesting too. So I'm going to turn this into a book and maybe put some other kinds of illustrations or words or poetry in there. And like that. Oh God, so beautiful. Blank pages, so I can work here. So, yeah. So, now I'm inspired. I'm going to go back and start working. Okay, so that's one gorgeous sketchbook that I did when I was doing nothing. You know, off doing God knows what people were imagining that I was doing. God only knows, because they're fucking idiots. No, like, that's not nice for me to say that, but they could just like, oh, poor Jean, and she's mentally ill, and blah, 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 which I've never heard the end of that shit, which just angers me to the point where I become unpleasant, you know, and I've had quite a bit of that from people recently, and I don't really care for it. I don't like it. I don't like it, so I'm just going to stay in my room and work, and I'm not going to bother with people, really. Yeah. So, so this is another book that I'm going to work on. I'm going to, in the future, I shall publish these books as you know, like Kurt Cobain, his notebooks. It's going to be like that. Not better, bigger. Because I got Jupiter in the house. I have Jupiter and Venus in the second house, which is the house of material manifestation. So I can pretty well make anything happen that I want to. But for me, I just have to want to. You know. Like, why bother when I can satisfy my needs easily? I can help people satisfy their needs, but they don't really, you know, then they're dependent. I mean, it's like my kids; they can do anything now that they have. My parents were like that with me. It's like I learned how to do everything from a very early age. I knew how to cook. I knew how to I knew how to babysit. You know, I could help my father work, you know, anything, you know, whatever, hand him this, or, you know, sharpen this. I could do a lot of little tasks, and I was very willing to do any of those tasks, and also to help my mother in any way that I could. You know, because it was my parents and I were the only people that lived in the area. We were the only people around, so we had to do everything. I guess I'm like that Nell, that TV, not TV, it was a movie with Jodie Foster called Nell. Where she was a girl that lived in the woods with her parents. Pretty well me. But anyway, but it wasn't woods, it was an estate, and it was beautiful. It wasn't like we lived in the woods, it was like we lived on an estate, and it was all manicured. You know, flower beds, and big garden with, you know, vegetables and fruits. There was berry bushes, and you know, an orchard with pear trees and apple trees. And, you know, there was a bamboo picker with a claw, so you could reach up in the. I could, as a 3 or 4 year old, could reach up in a tree and pick pears and apples from the tree. and there was a swing in the orchard, which I loved. And there was this really soft, thin grass, like fine grass that grew, and we called it deer grass. Deers loved to sleep in that grass. But anyway, I liked it too because it was really soft and very pleasant. And there was a yellow rose bush at the bottom of the hill. Like we lived on the top of the hill, and there was a road, and there was this big hill with a paved road down and a bridge across. But it was a bridge across the stream, or made out of logs. Really nice. But it was a beautiful place, and we were there by ourselves almost all the time, and we just did stuff. My dad had to go to work, so it was mostly my mom and I did stuff. Went for a lot of picnics. We had a good time. I had fun with her. She was a lot of fun. At that place, they were a lot of fun because they didn't have anything to worry about, because we were, we had it made there. That was a beautiful place to live. There was, swim, the bottom of the hill. There was a beautiful pond. You could swim in the summer and go ice skating in the winter. There was a hill. You climb up the hill, and there was a gazebo up the top. And we used to sled down that hill, which was really fun. Then there was a woods road that went up into the woods. We used to dump leaves. We would rake the leaves, and then we would dump a lot of leaves into the compost. But there were so many leaves that we would bring a lot of them up into the hill and dump them up there, into the woods. But I loved, my favorite place was the yellow rose bush at the bottom of the hill. Aside from my favorite place was in the pond. Swimming. I love swimming. But anyway, yeah, talking about my childhood is a really important factor for me, because I kind of reconstruct my childhood all the time. For me, like, I had a wonderful childhood. Thinking about it, I was responsible. I got, they treated me as if I was one of them, like an adult. Because I think they were very young at the time. They weren't very young, but they were reasonably young people. But they treated me as if I was their equal, and I didn't question that. So I got a lot of responsibilities, and we had a lot of fun together. So I don't have any complaints about my childhood. Even a lot of people feel sorry for me because they left me out in the cold. Which maybe sucked, but I didn't know that it sucked at the time. I just thought it was normal. Now people are going on about how baby boomers had these horrible childhoods, and now they, I didn't know it was horrible. For me, it was just, this is okay. I'm cold. I think maybe the first time they left me out, I might have cried, but after a while I realized, well, they're going to come pick me up eventually, and then I could stay warm. I know how to go inside and self-maintain with inside myself, which is, it can be a really important skill set. So I don't really feel that any harm was done to me by that. I'll say that about that. And the other thing, for me is that I had a lot of freedom, so I just roamed around all over the place. As a kid, my father taught me how to swim before I could walk, so they weren't afraid that I was going to fall in the water and drown, because I knew how to float. One of my favorite stories actually was the story about, we're living on the estate, and at one point a whole bunch of our Italian, relatives came up from the Bronx, the city, Yonkers, whatever, and came up for a visit. So my father's showing them around the estate, and this is the orchard, this is the, whatever. And we get to the at one point my Aunt Elvira notices some deer poop on the ground, and she goes, olive trees? They're olive trees? She thought the deer poop was olive bits, which it looks like, kind of funny. And so where's my hair brush? It's probably in the other room. Alright, I can't brush my hair, so whatever. So I can't brush my hair. Alright, Oh yeah, so here's all these, my grandparents and aunts and uncles and sisters and cousins and aunts and all these kind of people. So we get down to the, down to the bottom of the hill where there's a lake that's formed by damming a stream, Peekskill Hollow, And so the stream is dammed, and we have this nice little lake with a dock, canoes and all kinds of stuff. So I go running off the end of the dock and jump into the water, and all the Italian relatives set up screeching and hollering, "The baby fell in the water! The baby fell in the water!" Right? And I was probably like 2.5 or 3. I really recall the sequence, but I'm looking at them like, I jumped in the water, I could swim, So that they were just ridiculous. So the point of the story is that my father had taught me how to swim and float and tread water before I could even walk. So by the time I was 2 or 3, they would let me roam. I would just go out and rove. I was like the Irish rover. I would just go out and climb trees and get into things and go under bushes and dig things and jump at things. I was all over the place. And I go out in the morning, I come in, and when I got hungry, I go back. I was just like that kind of a feral child. I would help my parents. Oh, can you want to come here and give me a hand with this? Sure thing. I would be happy to do that. Lots of times they were too busy to bother with me, and they just wanted me to go away, leave them alone, which is fine. Okay. We'll go out, running around. It was basically a trouble-free childhood for me. I used to go to the Bronx and visit my grandparents. They lived in a one-bedroom apartment on Chapman Avenue in the Bronx. And the thing is that the people who owned the estate that we lived on, my father was the caretaker, but they had beautiful. Their home was beautiful. It was beautiful rugs and pottery and all kinds. It was a very, very beautiful home. But when I would go down, even in retrospect, it was a very beautiful home. It was simple, but it was beautiful. And their goods, the things that they had were lovely things. But when I went down to my grandparents' house, I thought that my grandparents were just as rich as the Winners were, because their apartment was always beautiful, and they always had, it always was elegantly. I felt it was elegantly appointed. They had, nice everything. It was nice, and they made wonderful food. My grandmother was a fabulous cook. I don't think that, there's very few cooks that, maybe it's because I'm used to it, but my Aunt Josie and my grandmother were phenomenally good cooks. That's where my dad learned it from. So, there's that, where was I going with this whole scenario? Oh yeah, my dad. Oh yeah, so then when we moved to, this is a long rambling, endless story. I could just go on and just leave all this shit. But so this is on my armpit here. I'm like losing my body hair and get more hair up here, which is kind of cool, I guess. Anyway, there. All right, I will. I'm not in any hurry. So, oh yeah, so then we moved into town. When I turned 7, a lot of bad things happened. A good thing happened. My sister was born, but my grandmother died when I was 7. And then we moved out of the place that I lived, and the only place that I ever remembered, and we moved into a small town called Shrub Oak, which is a really nice little town, a really sweet little town. And, we had a little corner, we had a corner, rented. We had a corner lot, big dark green house with fir trees around it. And so we lived there for a couple of years. But the thing about living there was I was used to roaming around, so I roamed around. My parents really trusted me. It's not that they didn't care, they really cared, but they really trusted me. They just let me do what I had to do. I only got in trouble once, and I got in a lot of trouble, and I was traumatized by it because I felt terrible. I was like, oh my God, I didn't really mean to. I really hurt them. They really made them feel bad. But what happened was I was out roaming around with my girl down the road named Ellen Archer. She was a very nice girl, and so her mom was a waitress. Her mom was a single mom, and there was her and her brother, I guess. But Ellen, would be home alone, and her mom would be. She was like a latchkey kid, except the door was open. She just went in, and so me and Ellen were at her house. Her mom was at work, and we decided, well, we were gonna cook some potatoes. So we went out in the backyard, and there was a stone fire pit with log, with twigs and sticks and whatever. So we gathered up a bunch of wood. We set the fire, and we lit the fire, and we got a bunch of potatoes and wrapped them up in tin foil, and and we're sitting around the campfire talking, and the next thing you know, like the pandemonium, the whole police, everything. My parents were probably freaked out because it was dark and I wasn't home. So I felt terrible that I did that, but I was having a really good time. I did this to my parents a lot. I would just take off and do crazy stuff, which is part of the reason I have a reputation for being a crazy person. But I just did. I don't care. I just go out and do stuff. I used to go in the swamp. I'd bike. Wake up in the morning, out the door. Grab something on the way out the door, cheese sandwich or whatever, an apple, and then head out with on my bike to somewhere. Just checking shit out. I love checking shit out. So I found this swamp, which I loved because it was just a great swamp. Tufts. Walk on the tufts. It was like being in the Lord of the Rings. I hadn't read the Lord of the Rings at that time, but it was an adventure. It was an adventure. And in the winter, it would freeze, and there'd be these smooth patches where the trees fell over. A tree fell over, and the hole that the tree was in would fill in. It would be very smooth ice. It would be all with grass, stuff like that. So that was a great place to ice skate. So I like that. But there's a few places. There was this place called the Mud Hole where we used to go swimming. It was full of snapping turtles. They were kind of funny. But that was a fun town. I had a lot of fun in that town. There was an antique store which I loved. I spent hours. I would just bike down to the antique store and hang out all day looking at the antiques. I loved looking at them. Asking the guy, "What do you think they use this for?" Stuff like that. And I used to go to the library, spend a lot of time at the library. I don't know, all kinds of stuff. There was just a lot of interesting things to do in neighborhoods. So that was my next place that we lived. But autobiography. I have to work on that. But anyway, meanwhile, I got these books. I just have a lot of materials. I just have materials which is randomly open somewhere. Oh, what is that? It's like part of a yin yang. What does it say? Does it say anything? Designs. Oh, here's a wonderful thing. The education era. Education era. Educe is to draw forth from within the coiled strings or clues leading out of the labyrinth of the known. I said that. Overcome fear of the unknown. Overcome the 5 fears. Go boldly where no man has gone before. Within the palace of the great I am here. The palace of the great mystery. I am here, seeing the order. Yeah, I just leave little surprises for myself all over the place. This one says, this is something. It says, a place of refuge, as in fugitive and refugee, haven, safety, and welcome. That's what we need, the world needs right now. It's for people to feel welcome. This one says relax. Relax. See, I'm going to finish these up. These are just stuff I just jotted down on my way someplace else. It says relax. There is no relaxing unless relax is valued. People find it very difficult to relax in a culture where the word lax is pejorative. The constant need to do is indicative of a lack of trust in the goodness and loving intent of the universe. Don't worry, be happy is ridiculed as a silly sentiment rather than being seen as a prescription for physical, mental, and spiritual health. I said that. Anyway. And I do that, which is why I'm 68 years old and I feel great. But yeah, this is great stuff. I mean, I love this, and oh, this is fun. It says this is a song which is self-referential, this is a song which is a self-referential statement about the ironies of life and art being written with primitive tools in an archaic hand. How to translate this into pixels and HTML is beyond my capacity. Can't barely do it. Much less into any other language. I can't do that at present. So all I can do is what I am doing and hope for new data and more. Especially RAM, more memory, especially RAM to juggle it with and get the circle remains, and yet the circle remains unbroken. Whew. What am I talking about? I wonder. Oh here. Self-renew. Sounds like a plan. Memories can be stored, sometimes in the oddest places. The self is the sum of the memories, true, but not the memories themselves, which can be tampered with, altered, distorted, but the soul is the template for the future, not dependent on whatever these memories are true or on whether these memories are true or false. Just if what is the most fun way. We can self-invent, self-adorn, self-metamorph, self-influence, self-analyze, self-absorb, self-center, self-indulge, and more. So anyway, so there's a whole bunch of this stuff. I just go, I could just go out and write and talk and never shut up. But I could never shut up. People tell me to shut the fuck up in public. Because I don't think that I want to shut up. I'm tired of shutting up. I don't want to shut up, and I'm certainly not going to shut up. I'm just not going to talk to people who don't want to hear it. Basically, is what happens. It's like, I'm going to shut up. Never. Never going to happen. Question to the unknown. That's Mr. Natural from Arquam, one of our counterculture icons. So, what's this? Oh, yet another sketchbook. Wow. I have so many of them. It's really scary. So this is a nice one. I think I missed the page of this. Freedom. Just another word for nothing left to lose? Or is it a bountiful place with everything to choose, dwelling in eternity with everlasting leisure, nurtured by a deity delighting in your pleasure? Is the price eternal vigilance, or relaxing and surrendering to the dance? Eternal vigilance, or surrender to the dance. It seems to me that freedom is just our natural state, and those who would deny that are motivated by hate. Well, that sounds reasonable to me. I really like the work I do. I just think that it's wonderful. I feel that I channel it. I feel like it's something that's really important. There's a point at which I was told I had a year to live. This was like, I don't know, probably a long time ago. Maybe it is true that I have, I don't know. Maybe it is true that I have only 1 year to live. I guess I'm glad and relieved, really. I never have felt worthy or welcome in this world. Never felt good enough. Maybe when I was really little, but I don't think so. I did. I felt worthy. I didn't know the difference. Plus, it seems like it's not okay for me to be here or do what I want. God, complain. But I do feel like that sometimes. So there's another one. We got another one. There's a good. So anyway, I guess I should end this for now. I have a lot to say. It's not that I don't have a lot to say. I think I probably didn't have probably. There's so many notebooks. I mean, I like them. I don't know. I could just keep doing this forever, you know? Easily. I can't do it all the time, but I can do it a lot. I mean, then I have things I haven't really even touched, you know. What's that? Oh, here's another something. No, that's just a regular notebook. I got, oh, here's another sketchbook. Yeah, I'm not going to throw that. I'm going to use it at some point. Why? I don't know, because I'm frugal. I'm a frugal hedonist. I guess that's what I am. Alright. So I love this book. This book is 2013, Everything at Once. I kind of felt like that for a while. So you can see that you can see things, you turn them different ways, you can see different things because of the nature of it. I'm working on stuff like that. Alright, you have to stop someplace. Oh, freakity fracky. Look at this, 46 minutes and 50 seconds. Well, let's go all the way for 50, or let's go for a full hour. So, which is fine. I can read a couple pages out of this book. I really like this. These are two pictures out of two different, these are two self-portraits out of two different books, sketchbooks. And it says, being at cause in life. Art is the echo of the creative force that birthed the galaxy. Creativity is the way the cosmos communicates with itself. Alex Gray said that. He's a local artist. Alex Gray is wonderful. The Cosm, the Chapel of the Sacred Mirrors, which is amazing. But anyway, near your breastbone is an open flower. Drink the honey that is all around that flower. Kabir. Now time. This is your power now. I can't read this. Only because I can't see it. Imagine a world where you feel welcome. I do. I imagine a world where I feel welcome. Alignment, balance, a state of equilibrium that neutralizes, opposes forces. I'm falling asleep. But you know, I'm like that. It's like all of a sudden, I think this is fun. They're under arrest. That's what it says. Well, this is my idea for homeschool. I remember where I was when I did this. I was homeschool journey. It's like the yellow brick road. I mean, you start from where you're at. Says, just look around and notice where you are. Just look around and notice what you see. Our feet takes us where we should go. What does that say? The earth though beneath your feet takes us wherever she goes. Well, there you have it. It's got the dinosaur boys. Or who am I? What am I? Where am I? When am I? Why am I? The journey of the 1,000 miles begins beneath your feet. And it says education. Talking about homeschool. Education is to draw forth. It comes from the word educe, which is to draw forth. Alright. Your art is your shield and your power. It's true. Love conquers all. I like this one. Art is not for the faint of heart. Death symbolism in my pictures because I love death, because I don't know why I just do. This says a lot of stuff, but it says casual, elegant, leisurely, graceful, and gentle. Nice stuff, huh? Connecting cultures. This one I absolutely love. How I came to acquire my United World vision. See that? Yeah, I like that. I did that at Charlie's. I was at Charlie's when I did that one. This is a monster, wild book. A lot of good stuff. And this is, can we be in harmony with the I understand a lot of people's points. They're worried about rapists and drug dealers. I don't know. They're worried about everything. You know. The only thing that you have any. The only thing anybody has any power over is what they do themselves. I mean, I think that you have to be civil, more than civil. I think that you have to be trusting and generous and all these things, no matter what. And even if, for me, even if people fuck me over, which maybe it happens so rarely that I don't really, and when I think it does, it hasn't. Usually it's just some other thing that I didn't, I could get paranoid or something. Usually it's nothing. It's usually nothing. I can't remember. The only time I remember, and it wasn't me, it was my father. My father was, driving, and this man stepped out, and my father didn't hit him, but he dropped his grocery bag, and my father stopped the car, helped him with his groceries, asked him if he needed a ride. He put him in his car, and he took him to his home with his groceries and everything like that. The man sued him, and my father was a very trusting person, and very altruistic, very magnanimous, really, my dad, and that was difficult for him to accept that he'd been, whatever, I don't know, it just was not in his realm of how people behaved. My father was an immensely ethical man. I could talk about my dad for hours. It's not that I, for me the roles were very clear. My father, my mother, and me, in the beginning. And then when the other kids came along, well, there was my father, my mother, me, and the kids. It was just really funny when you think about it. I'm always like the only child, although I have 5 siblings. I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers, but I'm still an only child, It tells you she's an orphan after you meet her family. She talks to angels. It's a true song. All those things are true. Everything they tell you about me is true, one way or the other. But anyway, so we're at 54:10. So I got 5-something minutes, 5 and change. So what am I going to do with it? I want to go to 60. Can I get? What I could do is put some music on. It's always a good idea. I do love music, and I absolutely adore my Pandora station, which is fantastic. You guys say pale and pasty. do. It's like a little lobby. And slave. I probably want to stay like that just because, you know, we don't have Pandora because shit's fucked up. Alright, so, I can't believe you know that. Alright, you're gonna shut the phone down. Shut her down, boys. It's not that you're gonna not let me play it, because that would suck. I'm gonna put the Afro-Celt sound system on. It's 111. I like the Afro-Celt sound system. I like the idea of, you know, I like, for instance, Ry Cooder did that thing with the chieftains, the Santiago, where it was like the Celtic, you know, who the hell were they called? Like Asterix and Obelix. Who were those guys? They were the Gauls, the unmitigated Gauls. I have no internet connection right now, so I can't really do too much. This because I haven't been sleeping for the past 3 years, but I was just sick, and people should actually get up and do stuff. I could not. You know, people think, oh well, I was just lazy and I should get up and do stuff, and that's not the case. I'm not a lazy person. I'm the kind of person that will overwork themselves because I always take up too much responsibilities. So for me to be laying around, it's meaningful. I lay around when I'm tired. You know, and maybe, you know, I like to get to the point where I don't get tired. I like to have more stamina, and that's one of my upgrades that I'm looking for. And that, and also, like, I want my legs, you know, I want my legs to fill out, you know. They're all baggy. My legs, because I lost so much weight, my legs are all really baggy looking. So I like to tighten them up a little bit, but aside from that, it's all good. So I shouldn't have the music on that loud, but 57, 58, so I'm counting down. You don't have to go to 60. There's no like law that says you gotta go to 60. Oh, but there is. Here, look at this. Here's another wonderful book that I have. Oh my god, this is a really good one too. Good thing I have 2 minutes left. Yeah. So I'm gonna do this also as a I can't. This is the gate. On the other side of the gate, someone is resting. I don't know where it is. Those are like draining leaves or something. So it's 59:07. This is. I think I should go this way. Okay. And then this 59:24. This is wonderful. It's a watercolor. It's watercolor. Couple more pages. I'm going to shut this off. And then, monster ball. Whatever that means. Alright, so you gotta go now because it's 1. And we're gonna end it. 3, 2, 1. Good night.